What's happening, everybody? I pray everybody is doing well. Uh, Today I decided to take me a mental break, little health break for myself, little R&R. So came to place to go fishing. Something that always calms me, eases my mind, helps me get back on track. Um, know what you guys are doing today, but everybody needs a few days like this in their life where you just sit out, nature, peace, just think, reflect. Um, and I'm having a good time. I'm fishing, been here probably 30, 40 minutes, caught one little one. Um, for a while, fishing hasn't been that fun to me, so I haven't really went because my dad used to fish all the time, and when he got sick and he started not to be able to go and always wanted to go, I never really wanted to go, because I felt like I'd be betraying him because we usually went together a lot of times and he couldn't do it. I just didn't really have the energy or the umph to really want to do it. A couple years ago, I started teaching HBI classes, which are construction classes to help you um, get into the pre-apprenticeship programs. Um, so when I would my class would end, I would bring my fellas out, and if you look back at my YouTube stuff, you'll see some of our pictures. I bring them out fishing because they said they had never been fishing, so that's what started it. So we would come out and hang out and have a really good time. And while I mentioned that, our angler guide every time we came out fishing was my cousin, Alvin, real serious angler. That's him on all social medias. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Real serious anglers. Um, but you know, I didn't have the love for it. But like I said, I started bringing my students back out. We started hanging and relaxing, and they had a good time. So I kind of got the love back from wanting to come out and be out here fishing. So I don't know what y'all, but the last few months have been interesting for me. That's why I went ahead and I finished up my book, coming soon. I didn't know I was me. Um, I didn't know I was me. Just talking about surviving versus living. We need to get out of the realm of just surviving in life and start living. Get back to living the life God put us here to be. He didn't put us here to stress out and money worries and and we're human, so we can't help things like that. But God put us here to live. And if you were born in the like I'm a '70s baby, so if you were born back during those times, your parents were probably really strict, worked hard. All they did was nose to the grind. And like you'll find out in my book, that's the family I came from. Both parents worked at the automotive plant, so it was nose to the grind all the time. We had fun growing up. I had my siblings. We laughed, we played. But what I learned as I got older, a lot of people I met in college and stuff like that that had both parents in the house that play with them, vacation, like we took vacations, but like, they did like real fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, and don't minimize what I'm saying. My childhood was great. Um, like you don't have to find out more in the book. I never knew my biological dad until I was like 13. But I had a great man, Johnny McCrea Jr., who came into my life married my mom and adopted me. Um, so I had a great role model growing up, a lot of great positive uncles, aunties, but the point I'm making is, back then they worked hard. It was nose to the grind. Both of my parents came out of the deep south, so they wanted to do better so they could, send money back home and help grandmas out, to raise the rest of the siblings that were still at home and just take care of home. So when they left the country and moved to the city, started working, like I said, at the auto plant. So it was grind. That's what they did. Then my dad started working on houses, which means I started working on houses. So I hated it at that time, but I respect it now, because kind of like that click, that little sun peeking through in the back, but I don't want it to mess y'all up too bad. Let's see. Yeah, maybe there. So, and that's nice how the sun's peeking through. I'm loving it. This is peaceful. That's why I didn't put my mics on. I kind of wanted y'all to hear the nature and everything going on, So, but like I said, it was nose to the grind. They worked hard, and that's all I knew, and I disliked it growing up because I didn't get a chance to ride my bikes as much as other kids during the summers and weekends and hang out because I had to go to work. So, and when I wasn't working with my dad on the weekends, because he worked at the plant during the week, um, summertimes I still had to work down there, doing construction. So it was a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? And more work, no fun really. And so as an adult, I kind of fell into that same mode, that same way of, fun later, we'll grind. Although I did have fun. I went to college. I had a great college experience as well. But after that, it still was serious business, nose to the grind, and I start surviving versus living. And when I say surviving, everything was, especially when the kids came, it came to, okay, we got to make sure we got food. We got to keep a roof over their head. We got to keep them clothed. So everything got real serious, serious, serious then. Like, you know, and I found myself going back into the mode of my dad and then looking at my son like, you know what? I hope he's not feeling like me. Like, I just want to, me and my dad would go fishing and stuff like that and hang out, but wanted to have more fun times, more laughter. Like, you know, it wasn't a lot of laughter with the parents in our years of growing up. Um, and I wanted that from them. I'm just being honest. So I wanted to make sure with my children that they were coming up, I wanted to make sure we were having fun. I wanted to play. I didn't want to work them like I was worked. I wanted them to get out, enjoy life. But then I wanted them to know they can come and talk to me about anything. Talk to me first before I find out. You know what I'm saying? Or if you do something, come to me before it comes back to me. Let's talk about it. I tried to raise my kids, a little differently than I was raised. So we could, they knew I was daddy, I was a parent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your friend, but you can come to me, we can talk about it. Let's work it out. So less this discipline than them. More focus on love, support, and talking them through things. So if they made a mistake, they weren't scared to come to me, telling me they made a mistake. We talk about it, rectify it. Now, if you admit you made a mistake, okay, I take that. That was a mistake. I get it. Now, if you do it again, you know, now we got to talk about this, because once you make a mistake, you made a mistake. It's over. You shouldn't go back to that mistake. Now, I'm saying that I've been young. You know, a little older now, I made mistakes and went back, did the same thing over again. We all had. Lord, you get me out of this one. I won't ever do it again. I promise. I promise. We've all been there. So let's not judge. Let's not judge. So what I'm creating here on my YouTube channel is a safe space. Somewhere where men can come, we can share our feelings because, you know, growing up, it was real men don't cry and suck it up and all that stuff. And then you just bottle all that stuff up. And I realized I've been bottling stuff up for a lot of years. Um, and the way I found out was with my wife. You know, she's big on talking and communicating, and I never have been. So when she wants to talk about something and I really don't because it's frustrating me, just forget about it, move on. She wants to talk it through. So, you know, when you love somebody, you compromise and you try to become a bigger and better person than you were before. So I was trying to be better. You know, I wanted to be better for her, better for the kids. So I started listening. I started opening up, you know. So, you know, then I start, you know, researching and thinking deep into myself. You know what I'm saying? Some of the pain and the anger and the frustration I had that I only shared when I was in my closet by myself. You know what I'm saying? They say men don't cry. Men cry. Because I know I never really cry in front of people, but I have cried in my closet. I've cried in my pillow. I've cried in my car. You know what I'm saying? So let's break this stereotype of raising our young men to think that it's weak to cry. It's not weak to cry. It's an emotion. You feel better when you get it out. And you feel better if you can get it out around somebody that cares and that can help you through it, love on you, encourage you, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, you know, let's stop. That's one thing I want to make sure we stop. Is stop telling these young men, you know what I'm saying, that real men don't cry, only chumps cry, and because that's the state that we're in now. You know, we're losing a lot of our young men because nobody's talking to them. We're not grabbing them. We're not holding on to them. And so now they're falling into the same thing that my book's going to tell you about. You know what I'm saying? The surviving and not living. Just trying to make sure you make it day to day to day, but you're not taking time to, let me show y'all, to enjoy, you know, nature. You know, the things God put us here for. You know, God blessed us with this beautiful place. He created the place and then breathed life into us. And we're supposed to rule over our domain. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to make this world better for each other, for everybody. White, black, eh, whatever race you are, whatever sexual preference you go by, all that, that's it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to still genuinely love everybody besides those factors. We're all human. We all have the Spirit of the Lord in us. Jesus died on the cross for all of us. So that's the only thing that matters. Whatever somebody else is doing in the lifestyle they choose, that's between them and God. You can still love them as a person. You don't have to agree with what everybody else is doing, but you still have the obligation from our Father to love everybody in spite of, because He loves us. And I can only speak for myself. I know I've done a lot of stuff wrong. And for Him still to love me and to have shed the blood on the cross for me, I don't take that lightly. So, you know, let's tighten up. Let's do better, y'all. And men, like I say, I'm building this channel. Women, please, I'll be talking to the men a lot, and I'll be saying, men, But please stick around, watch the videos, watch the workshops, because this can help you understand your husband, your boyfriend, your fiance, and it can help you if you plan on having a husband, boyfriend, or any of those. Because some of the topics we're going to talk about, we're going to dive deep. So, we're going to try to get rid of some of this pain that's inside so we can free ourselves. I'm still a work in progress. That's why I decided to do this. So you guys can watch me as I grow, as I get better. I plan on, like I say, I mentor young men now, but I plan on doing more mentorships and bigger things. So, you know, if you don't mind, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's lock in. Let's let's talk about it. Let's heal. I didn't know I was me. Book coming soon.